Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in our series, In the Light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah's peace and blessings be on each and every one of you. Dear viewers, we are continuing in our program looking at various questions which our viewers have had, either issues that have been bothering them throughout their lives or recently, day-to-day issues, practical things, some things concerning Islamic law, etc. Any questions that people have, we'll try to answer for them. And dear viewers, you're all welcome to write in with any questions that you have. Our first question is from Mariam Fernandez, who is writing from Dubai. She writes, Dear Dr. Bilal Phillips, Assalamu alaikum. I hope that you are fine. I'm a regular viewer of your program, In the Light of Islam. Could you kindly answer this question for me? A new convert sister took a big loan in her home country. Despite all the Muslims' advice, she put her house as collateral and now is in grave difficulties as she cannot make the interest payments. She is now approaching her Muslim brothers and sisters, asking for money to service the loan. Should we be sympathetic, or is it a serve you right situation? Shukran. We have a sister, convert sister, who has taken a loan, meaning a loan from a bank, despite Muslims' advice. Of course, the Muslims' advice is that one should not take loans from banks. The payment, the receipt of interest is forbidden. Even the witnessing of contracts of interest is forbidden for a Muslim. So, against Muslims' advice, Islamic principles, she went ahead and took this loan and put her house as collateral. And I guess now she's unable to make the interest payments, so her house, she's in danger of losing her house. And she's approaching Muslim brothers and sisters asking for money to service the loan. Should we be sympathetic, is the question, or should we just say it serves you right? We told you, and look what you've done to yourself. Of course, this is true. She was advised not to do this, and she went against the advice, and this is what has happened to her. However, at the same time, being a sister in difficulty, we, those of us who are able to help her, should try to help her. Of course, it should be done in such a way that she extricates herself. Not that she further get more deeply tied up in this interest payments and loan situations. We need to help her from the point of view of helping her get out of this situation. Selling whatever property was involved, to help her clear, and then if she needs money to help get back her home or whatever, we do that to help her out of that situation. But not to help her, in other words, in the sense that she would continue to deal with this loan and interest payments, etc. And this is general advice, of course, for Muslims, that we should avoid dealing in interest. This is something forbidden in Islam in no uncertain terms. And we can see the devastation which has come into people's lives when they get involved in various programs where they purchase things beyond their means, because this is most of the time when a person gets involved in interest payments and loans. It is that one wants to go into an economic area where one really doesn't have the means. One doesn't have the economic means to live at this standard, but one enters onto this standard by loans. And of course, the likelihood is that things are going to occur in one's life. One is not able to maintain that standard, and the loans cause us to lose the basic things that we had. How many people are living in the streets in America? One of the richest countries in the earth, living in the streets because of interest, mortgage payments, etc., which came due, accidents took place, they didn't have coverage, and their homes were taken away from them, they were put out on the street. This happens daily. This is in the richest country. So, we can imagine what will happen in other countries where people are not, don't have the kind of means that they do in Western society. The second question we have comes in from Ali Razak, who's writing from Abu Dhabi. He writes, respected Dr. Bilal Abu Ameena, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a regular viewer of your program. It's very interesting, and always it has made me richer. I have a question for which I request an elaborate answer. Can Muslims eat crabs, lobsters, and shellfish? I hear different people saying different things concerning this. Well, this doesn't really require too elaborate an answer. It is quite simple principle in Islamic law with regards to foods, that the things which have not been prohibited, as Allah says in the Quran, that He has made foods permissible for us, except what He has forbidden. And He then goes on to list the forbidden areas. Animals which were slaughtered to other than Allah, animals which die of themselves, a variety of different categories. And Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, added to these animals which kill, that are carnivores, birds which kill by the claw, animals which kill by the eye tooth, the canine tooth, etc., have been added. Domesticated horses, etc., are not permissible. So when we're looking to see can we eat or can we not eat, we have to look to see, are these animals or are these creatures in those forbidden categories? What we find is that animals of the sea are not. Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, on one occasion was asked whether it was permissible for one to make ablution from seawater. And his response was, its waters are pure, and it even makes pure that which dies in it, which is of it. It's dead. Animals, which are sea animals, which die, are edible. We can eat them. They're washed ashore. We can cook them and eat them. We find them floating in the water. We're allowed to eat them. Of course, if it is a result of some kind of pollution or something like this, where we can see the areas, a polluted area, and then you see these animals, fishes or whatever floating on top of the water, it doesn't mean we go and say, okay, the Prophet said we can eat dead things of the sea, we can go ahead and eat it. No, common sense tells us that, pollution has killed these animals. There's danger, there's harm here. But where you're on the open sea where there's nothing, which has to do with pollution, and animals die, fishes that are in the sea, at some point they're going to die. They're washed ashore or whatever. Usually the bigger animals tend to be washed ashore. Where there's no evidence of harm causing their death, then we may eat them. So this is a principle which is unique for the animals of the sea, because we know, as I mentioned earlier, animals of the land, animals which die of themselves, are forbidden. They're classified as meta. We cannot eat them. Animal which dies of itself, meaning that it has died, it just fell down and died, or if it has been clubbed or something like this, it dies without being slaughtered, then it's all considered to be meta. Now, crabs, lobsters, and shellfish are not in this category. They're among the animals of the sea. I know the argument which those who seek to forbid it use is that these are scavengers. The lobsters or the shellfish, they tend to be scavengers. They're at the bottom of the sea. They eat up whatever falls from the top, and they eat these things. They're like scavengers. And the pig is like a scavenger, and other animals which are